What's up? What's up? This is Adri,
And Alyssa,
and you're listening to.
chat in the hat.
So, I was thinking about the whole pets in the bed conversation that we had
Oh,
a
yeah.
few episodes ago or whenever it was. And because I was walking my dog and I don't know why. So, Wes's dog, for the
Mm-hmm.
listener, my kid's dad, my baby daddy, his dog got a tapeworm. And so
Oh,
was like,
no.
"Oh, I saw a worm coming out of its butt."
Oh,
And so then I was like,
gosh,
"Oh my god, is
dude.
it contagious because my dog has been over there?" So, I was looking at his butt, nothing was there, but I did notice some, like, dried poop, and that was the moment where I was like, "This is why you don't sleep in the bed."
Yes, see,
But
I
he does.
told you. No one's bathing their dog every day, and there is just foul shit going on with those creatures. God bless them, love
I
them, but no. Oh my God.
Oh,
That is hilarious
man.
though. I'm so glad that happened and thank you for the callback because like
Yeah.
hopefully you've stuck along with us and now you know this is why I am anti-dogs in the bed. Thank you
Oh,
very
totally,
much.
but
Point and case.
I'll
Uh
admit that he still gets in my bed, but now I have a towel and he can't sit anywhere but that towel. So we have mitigated the risk.
okay. Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
I went last night to see Matt Costa at the Belly Up in Solana
Ooh.
Beach. Shout out Belly Up. Um, and I was thinking, like, I've been listening to Matt Costa since I was probably 15 years old. And I'm 35 now for the listener, so 20 years. And I cannot recall ever seeing him before. I'm like, I feel like I would have had to see him at some point, like maybe in the early 2000s. But I saw him last night. Oh, holy moly, he's incredible, and he is such a babe. Do you know who he is?
Yeah, I remember when
Okay,
you first started listening to him
yes,
and
you
stuff.
need to see him nowadays. I was like, first of all, are you Paul Rudd and a vampire? Because you haven't aged at all. And he's just I sent Amanda a video because her and I obviously listened to him together. So I sent her a stare and she was like, "Oh my God, he looks so good." And I was like, "Dude, I know." It was like total babe alert. But yeah, so if you haven't seen Matt Costa lately, highly recommend, not only for the musical talent, but for the eye candy.
Yeah, if you're
And he
feeling
gave out these
horny
shirts for
and you wanna
free.
get oh, there you go.
He gave out these shirts for free. This is what I thought was really cool. He was like, like partially through his set, he's like, "Oh, I have some shirts back or a shirt back there." He didn't have like any merch. He just had this one shirt, and he's like, "You could just have one." He's like, "Literally, like just go get one as long as supplies last." He's like, "But all I ask is that you guys do something kind for somebody or donate to something. And then that way, every time you wear that shirt, you just remember that you did that and good karma shall spread that way." And I was like, "You are such a badass."
Oh, I love
And yeah, I thought that
that.
was so cool. And the tickets, okay, the tickets were $18. I was
Can't beat
texting
that.
with two of my buddies about like a different show we're going to in March. And I literally was like, on a side note, I'm seeing Matt Costa tonight. And the ticket was $18. And I thought, am I in the Twilight Zone? Is this circa 2007? Because
No
I was
kidding.
like,
You can't even
the
get a breakfast
money,
burrito for $18 anymore.
I was like, $18. If I go to McDonald's, it's more than that.
Yeah. Everything has gone up in
I
price,
know. So I
so
just was like, thought that was freaking dope that his tickets were super reasonably priced and he gave away free merch and he's hot. So thank you, Matt Costa, for a great Thursday night.
if you would like to
Anyways,
sponsor this podcast,
and if you would like to sponsor this podcast, we it is permission granted.
or make our jingle because we're on the search for a new
Yeah,
one.
make the jingle. All right.
Putting
Tag
it out
Matt
there.
Costa in the comments. Anyways, do you
Cool.
have any fun plans this weekend? So, because it's Friday. Well, it's Monday for the listener, but it's Friday for us.
Yeah, I am I have a date tonight.
Ooh. All right, might
But
need to do a follow-up on this next.
I know, I think I will, but we're trying to, like, figure out what we're gonna do because it's a first date, and I've never actually met him, and so
Oh, yeah, you haven't met him because it's the first day.
yeah, I mean, like, it
Right.
wasn't somebody
Oh,
I
because
met
that's
in
like
the
an app
wild.
thing. Yeah, like,
I
sometimes you
actually
meet someone in person and
randomly
I'm like,
met
"What's
him
that?"
through Facebook, and I'm not even on dating apps. I am in this group called Goofing Off Around the Triangle for, like, things to do, and, people are always posting their intros or whatever, "Hey, I'm so and so, I just moved here, blah, blah, blah," and he posted one, and he said something about live music, and all I said was, "What kind of music do you like?" And then he responded and was like, "I love jam bands and reggae, blah, blah, blah," and I'm like, "Oh, solid." And then he DM'd
Yeah.
me. I've never had that happen where somebody, like, DM me and we've chatted now for, like,
Oh,
a
I like
little while.
this approach. I mean, it's still like internet based, but not like full blown, like we're just swiping and all that. So this is cool. It feels a little bit more organic
Yeah, a little bit, but I
than a
did
dating
tell him
app.
I'm moving out of
Oh
state,
yeah.
so
You're like, this is temporary, okay? You're like, I just want to
yeah.
give you a heads up. Like, this is all temporary.
Or, I mean, if it's not, he can
Or
move
if
with
you
me.
want to move also.
I have been known to take a man or 2 out of state.
Okay, well, cool. You'll have to
Yeah, more to
let us
come.
know how it goes. Yeah, TBD. Okay. You are up first this week.
Yeep,
If you'd
yeep.
like to start us off.
I am ready. I got a hat full of tricks.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, this is a newer one. Ooh, astrology. Do you buy into it? What does your sign say?
Okay. This is I'm sorry, just because this actually does kind of have to do with that.
You're
I
gonna go first?
No, no. So many things. Okay, so many things have been happening to me in the last couple weeks. Like, okay, so episode 4, how it's cosmic giggles, and I make a mention in that episode about how we both drew the same exact thing out of our hat, and I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
"Oh, cosmic giggle." So just like so many things like that have been happening where I'll hear something say on a podcast that I've never heard of, not a day in my life before, and then I'll hear it on a podcast, and then like a day later somebody in real life will like be talking about the same topic and I'm like, how does this keep happening? Like so many like crossover, like but a lot. And so this is one of those moments. I was just thinking in my car yesterday driving, thinking about signs, like risings, and just like it was just on the forefront of my mind. And then you draw it today. Like it's just so weird. Like
It's
all like the universe is just like really a lot of
it's
crossover
telling you to
shit
read
on
your
like
horoscope.
random things. So, anyways, sorry, but please proceed on what you want to talk about. But it's just so weird.
Um, so I can't say that I have the same scenario happening currently, but I think when I put it in my hat, it was just something that crossed my mind because I come across so many posts about astrology on Instagram. And then I've also noticed in this Facebook group that I'm in about dating, all these girls are always talking about like signs and, compatibility. And so it got
Yeah.
me thinking, like, how much weight do people really put into that? I'm sure there are some who really think it's fake,
Oh,
but I would
yeah.
never not date somebody because our signs were like, no, you're not a match. In fact, I've dated many people and it hasn't worked, but I don't necessarily think that's why. I think that there is a lot of truth behind maybe our signs. We have characteristics, but I also feel like your environment, your upbringing shape who you are as a person. Maybe these are like your natural inclinations to be a certain way, but how you've grown up and the things you've experienced will further shape that in your personality. But I very much, because I'm a Leo, but my rising sign, my moon sign are both Libra. And I find that I tend to be, in a lot of ways, very much more of a Libra. Is like, I like to have things more balanced. I'm very analytical. And
Well, that's your rising. So your
yeah,
rising is what actually determines like the Leo is your sun, so that's what you are just in general presenting to the world, but your rising is more of the core of who you are. And then what'd you say your Mercury was it? What else?
no, my rising is Libra and my moon, which I
Oh,
believe
moon.
is like my love one, right? I don't know which.
Venus, but well, I thought the rising maybe see, I'm not super well
We are
versed in it,
not
but I have a
experts in
little bit.
astrology.
Yeah, not experts at all, but I thought the moon and the rising were the same.
No, your Venus
Oh,
is your
that's
rising,
the love. That's the love one.
and then your
Mercury,
moon is your moon sign.
yeah, well, the Mercury is very important one. It's like one of
Mm,
the top 4s because whatever your Mercury is, that's the way you communicate.
yeah.
So,
So, what I think is fascinating though is I don't really buy into the horoscope thing so much. I think that that's kind of a bunch of malarkey. Every time I read it, it's so generic
well,
but
yeah,
there is a app that I really like called The Pattern, and I would find that to be the most accurate in terms of like who I am as a person, and it'll tell you every day like today this is what's happening and you might be feeling this way today or these things might happen, and I've just seen that translated in my real life in
mhm,
real time, and it's like trippy, but it's not horoscopes. It's more or
right,
less they call it the pattern because it's your patterns of behavior shaped by your chart, and
mhm,
so it breaks it down into there's different elements to it, of course. And I just find it really fascinating. And you can have friends on there and it'll tell you like your pattern with this friend is maybe this is what the person brings into your life or whatever. And
yeah,
so I do like reading it. It's interesting to me, but I would never, I guess back to the dating thing. It's not something that drives my day to day to the point where I would like, I hate when
no.
people are like, oh, you're this way because you're an Aquarius or whatever. It's like,
Yeah, yeah,
no, that's not why
yeah.
you're this way because you're an asshole or what, like
Yeah.
there are so many
So
reasons why somebody could be acting a certain way at that moment that I don't necessarily like to reduce people to their signs because I think that's
right.
sort of
I
stupid.
agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I just think we are so much like what you were saying, like nature versus nurture. But I do I mean, I fully believe in astrology. I think that the stars, I think we are stardust and that we are all like it's all one and the same. We're very interconnected to the universe. I do believe that. I think that the stars and planets play a role. And I do think that those if you do your actual like natal chart, I think that there is a lot of helpful information. Now, to your point, I also think that what it does is it gives you a baseline understanding about how someone just in general, yeah, might behave or like for example, like the Mercury, what like if you do, I know it's like kind of crazy if you are dating, you're like, where were you born? Okay, what time?
Yeah.
And then you're like running their birth chart. But however, if you are in a position or you want to do that or you're bold enough to do it, honestly, if you can get those and you can look at those top 4 things, which is like their sun, their rising, their Mercury, and their Venus, I think is the other like top 4th one to really pay attention to. But the Mercury is that communication. And so if you kind of just have a general, like if you're like, oh, they're Mercury's in Sagittarius and you kind of read up on that, it kind of just gives you an insight as to like ways that they may receive or process the best way to talk or articulate what you're thinking or what you're feeling. So now I don't think that that is the end all be all. Like, obviously, because people are shaped in their homes growing up, they have learned behaviors from how they were raised. But I also think that it is just a good little, like, helpful little bit of information to have and be like, "Oh, I think it's going to work in your benefit more than it's going to work against you, unless the person is just like, I don't know, like,
Right. Yeah.
whatever." But I just think it is I do believe in it. I think it just gives a good baseline, and I wouldn't necessarily I don't apply it to all the things day to day. It's not yeah, like you said, it's not like, "Oh, well, you're that way because you're an Aquarius." It's like,
Yeah, exactly.
like, yes, I agree, but I do think it gives helpful insight.
Yeah, to your point though, it is a good baseline, but it's not just one sign, it's the makeup of all of the different
Mm-hmm.
positionings of the stars. I am very much with you in the I believe that we're all connected to the universe and like made up of stardust in a way. But it can't just be this is your sign. Your sun sign is only a fraction of
It's the least
you
important part, actually.
yeah, yeah,
So,
but it is kind of fascinating, and I highly recommend the pattern because to what we were talking about, it's not about this is who you are. It's more about patterns of behavior, and it'll even say things like if you already are aware of this, how you can maybe improve this behavior or make it work in your favor. You do, it kind of shows you how to move about your life in a way that aligns to make you shine in the best way. And
mhm.
maybe whatever your least favorable qualities are, how to overcome those
Oh,
and
yeah,
like
that's cool.
bring recognition to them, but also how to overcome them. And I found it to be crazy accurate. But as we were talking, I looked up my chart actually. So my moon is in Libra, my Venus is Leo. The Venus is wait, let me go back. And the Mars is Scorpio, Sun Leo, rising Libra. So my Venus and my Sun are both Leo, and my rising and my moon are both Libra.
What's the
And
moon? Does it give you a brief explanation on like what the moon represents?
it sure does if I can figure it out. I don't really know how to read these charts very
Hold
good.
on, I have a really good one. Doo, doo, doo. This is the part of the
But
podcast.
my moon in Libra says charming and diplomatic. So, I mean, it's got to be right.
Yeah. Obviously, that is just spitting straight facts. All
Yeah.
truth here, folks. You heard it here first.
And then my Venus or yeah, my Venus in Leo, it says I'm magnetic and captivating. I mean, tell me that that is not just fire. Fire. Intense and passionate. I don't remember or I can't seem to find like what they mean, but my Mercury is Virgo because you were talking about Mercury.
Hmm.
And I think all these people listening
So
really
Virgo,
wanted
that's
to know all
interesting
of this
because
about me.
Virgos are my Venus is actually, so I'll do mine real quick. Sun Libra, we know that. Moon Sagittarius, Mercury Libra, Venus is Virgo. Those are those top four ones. But what I want to know, this is what I think I could figure out real quick for us. So that's the sun. And so I thought the moon was the rising sign. Okay, but hold on. It's going to tell me right here. Okay, the moon represents the emotional responses, unconscious predestination, and the self image. The moon represents the emotions, and the moon sign shows how a person expresses themselves when at home, at ease, and comfortable. So that is when you were talking about the rising sign, and I was giving a description about how it's the core of like who you are, like that's what I meant. And it's actually the moon. So I thought the moon was the
Mm,
rising, but yours is saying something different. So,
yeah.
anyways, just to clarify,
The
yes. So the
ascendant is
sun, moon,
equal to the
Mercury, and
rising.
Venus are most important, or at least
Yeah.
not the most important, but those are the top ones. Just like if you're only going to do baseline entry, looking
Astrology.
into all of this, those are the four to pay attention to,
Yeah.
in my
And it's
opinion.
interesting because the moon, when you think about like how much control it has over the tides
Oh
and
yeah, that's
just
fully
the
why I believe
energy
in astrology.
shifts, like
Uh
full
huh.
moons versus like waxing and waning. Like there's so much to do with the phases of the moon and how it affects the energy in our universe and
Yeah.
animals even. And so I think that it is kind of interesting that it is such an important part of our
Well, there's
chart.
also like, especially like holistic or neuropathic doctors, like we won't get fully into this because I think it's too far of a side tangent, but even like a woman's cycle, like
Mm,
they tell you like if your cycle is starting at different phases of the moons, how your body will actually like react differently. So it gives advice for women. I could like show you some of this one doctor that I follow here in San Diego. She's like a holistic neuropathic doctor, but she focuses on women's health. So she shares like so much helpful information. Um, But anyways, yeah, that's one of them. And so it was like, ladies, if you're starting at the full moon, be aware of this. If you're starting at this moon, be aware of that, you know, and it's like just how the moon affects us as females with our menstrual cycle. So I'm like super
Yeah.
fascinated by that. I just started seed cycling this month. So I'm going to report back just as a little side note.
What the heck is seed cycling for
So
us
you, yes. So seed
ignoramus?
cycling is when you start your menstrual cycle. So like basically, this is assuming it's like just a standard 28 days. So you may have to adjust, but essentially, the first half you want to eat 1 tablespoon of pumpkin seeds and 1 tablespoon of flax seeds for days 1 through 14. So like basically day 1 through ovulation. That is supposed to help balance the estrogen in your body by eating those every day. And then on the second half, you shift to eating sesame seeds and sunflower seeds, a tablespoon each a day. So I'm tracking this month with eating and seeing how my body responds differently. If there is anything I obviously notate about that. But it's really just to help balance out your hormones. It shifts the estrogen so you don't overproduce it on the front end. And then it balances out on the back end with the other thing. So we'll see. We'll see.
Nice. So you should post the link when we put this episode up to this information. And also, I'm sure we just lost all of our male listeners.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. On that note,
talk about menstruation.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I mean, everybody knows about it. So it's not like we can be.
True. I think it's kind of funny
Honestly,
when
if
guys
a
get
man stopped
squirmy.
listening, if a man stopped listening because I mentioned a menstrual cycle, like I'm sorry, I don't want him to be a listener of ours. Like, grow up.
Yeah, I know. I think it's kind of funny when guys get super squirmy about it and grossed out. And
Yeah,
I'm
you're
like,
how do you
"Dude."
think babies are made, bro?
I know.
Like you have to have a period to have a baby. So
I don't think they care.
yeah, I know.
They're like, "Just
Cool.
don't talk about it." So yeah, anyways, I think it's kind of a fascinating topic. I think some people take it a little bit
Way too seriously.
overboard, but I mean, I guess it gives you something to believe in, right?
Yeah.
So cool.
Something to believe. It just reminded me of that Soja song. Anyways.
So that's
Yep.
that.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you. That was a good one. All
Yeah.
right. Please be a fun one. Please be a fun one. Oh God. Let's see. What do we got? This feels like a newer one. No, yes. This is one I kind of have been hoping to pull soon. It's not the one I totally wanted today. There's another one that I really want to talk about because I think it'll be funny. But this one might be good too. So and you might need because you're thinking on your feet. So this is this topic is
The
things that
suspense.
are slightly overrated.
Oh.
So I have like a little list that I've been accumulating of things that I believe are slightly overrated. So because you didn't know this was coming, maybe you have some that you're just like, oh, yep, I already know, but we could also take a little pause if you think of some. But I will start. First and foremost, Taylor Swift.
Oh my
I'm
God.
sorry. Don't
Agree.
come at me, Swifties.
I'm with
but
you.
Okay, Taylor Swift. Now, I'm not saying anything bad. I don't have anything bad to say about her. Do I think she's talented? Absolutely. Do I respect that she re-recorded all her music? Yes, but that actually was at the recommendation of Kelly Clarkson, so it's not like she came up with it on her own. But anyways, neither here nor there. I appreciate she's doing that. I think that the fact that she stimulated the United States economy, like all of that is great. What I just like don't think that she is saying anything that profound with her like to
No.
just make her. I just think she's just way overrated. Everything on the internet being about her and Travis Kelce, like just all of it. I think
Yeah.
that the super fan hypeness around her. I'm not saying that super fans didn't exist. What I'm saying is that I don't get why she is someone that everyone is super fanning over. I
Yes.
think someone like Halsey is saying a lot more with her music. I think she's artistically way more superior to Taylor Swift. And that's all I'm saying is like, I'm not saying anything bad about Taylor Swift. I just don't get how she is the super fan pop star, how
Yeah,
she came
well,
to be in that, because I just don't think she's She's good. I'm not making
part
the
of
correlation.
she's part of the Illuminati.
No, I'll give you two.
God.
I'll give you two. So I'll give you two things from people who were like, explain to me why they're such big fans of her.
Illuminati.
She
One of
makes
them,
friendship bracelets.
well, no, that was fans that made friendship bracelets. That wasn't her. That was fans made those.
I'm kidding. It's 'cause
She's
she
a
makes
wit.
a reference in a song.
So one, apparently, but every person I know who's like a major Taylor Swift fanatic says they feel like they are friends with her. Like the way she interacts with crowds at shows is and like talking to fans, and she'll like comment on just random fans shit and have talks with them and DM them and shit like that. Like, so she has really great fan interaction that makes them feel like they are truly her friend. So that's one reason.
Okay.
The other thing is, as far as just a pure performer standpoint, I don't know any other artist in recent years or in a long time who does 45 song set list in 4-hour sets.
That's the first time she's done that, first of all. That's not her nature. I've been to a Taylor Swift concert before, kind of. Like I wasn't actually in the Petco Park, but I was in a building that overlooks Petco Park, and it was a normal length concert. She wasn't there for 3 hours. Okay. This is the first time she's done that. And it was intentional because it was the Eras tour. So she was going through all her albums.
Exactly.
So it's a one-time thing.
Impressive.
This is not like this is a one-time thing.
Sure,
the
you
norm.
can keep talking all you want. I would like to see you get up there and perform 4 hours every night.
I don't want
for 4
to.
nights in a row.
There
It's
are
hard work.
many
It's hard work.
I can name
I believe
multiple DJs who will DJ for 8 to
DJs
12 hours straight.
They're not fucking. They're
they
not
don't even
singing.
take a piss break.
Okay, they're
They
not
don't switch
singing.
their outfit.
They're not
No.
fucking doing choreographed dances. They're not doing all sorts of
Okay,
shit. They're fucking
she's
standing there
not the
playing
greatest
music.
dancer. Let's be real.
I'm not saying she's a great dancer. Jesus. I'm not saying she's the greatest musician ever. I'm saying I get the appeal. You're saying you don't get it. I'm trying to give you reasons why people are appealed by her.
You're taking
I'm not saying
this
she's the
way
best
too
songwriter.
seriously.
No, but like I threw out
Don't
the
cry.
thing about her like doing a crazy set, and you're like, oh, big fucking deal. She's did it one time. It's still impressive.
It is. That's
It's
what
still
I'm saying.
impressive.
I am.
Like-
I think she's doing a great job. I really do. I just don't understand. Like people literally spend hours and hours and hours of their day like dissecting her lyrics and trying to be like, oh, is this about this person? And oh, this is about this ex and da da da. And like, oh, is that foreshadowing to like what's gonna happen on the next album? It's like people literally dedicate so much time of their own into like decoding everything that Taylor Swift does. I'm just saying it's a bit much, in my opinion. I think it's a waste of time. But to each their own. I'm just saying the topic is things that I think are overrated, and Taylor Swift is number one on my list.
Yeah. There aren't a lot of musicians that I like that are massive, you know, like her, where they like she's like the Michael Jackson type of this
Her and Beyonce.
generation, and Beyonce. Like I don't listen to a lot of that genre.
Yeah.
So, and that's like the mainstream. That's kind of what gets those big shows and big followings. So I think that's probably why I sit on the outside of that camp, because that's just not my genre. Like,
yeah. And I can admit to, I like her music, but it's not something that I listen to regularly. So maybe if I was more involved in her albums, then maybe I would feel differently. But that's that. Next on my list, I have Stanley Cups. Okay.
What? You think they're overrated?
I think Stanley Cups are incredibly overrated. Like, I just don't get it. Like, people are waiting outside of Target to get a pink Stanley Cup in the cold. Like,
you're talking about, I thought you were talking about the Stanley Cup from hockey.
No, Stanley
You're
Cup
talking about the
women
Stanley
carry their water and coffee and
the Stanley brand.
Stanley brand. Yeah, when you said Stanley Cups, I was
Got
like,
it.
that's a really big deal for hockey teams. What the fuck are you talking
I
about?
know. I'm like, what?
Stanley Cup.
You should have said like Stanley tumblers or mugs.
No, well, they're called Stanley Cups. Like that's
I know.
what
Yes.
them.
Okay,
I would
that was,
yes,
I
like,
agree.
I think it's
Those are
absurd.
overrated as hell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, and they leak. Like, okay, like, what? Like, I just
Yeah, I actually like my Yetis more than
Yeah. Oh my gosh. My freaking hydro flask with all my stickers that I left in a panicked whim getting out of the Uber at the New York airport when we were leaving New York City this summer.
Oh, yeah.
I swear to God, I almost cried. I called Matt. I'm like, I left my water bottle in the Uber. He's like, call the Uber. I'm like, Adri ordered it. And then he's like, well, tell her to call. I'm like, she's panicking right now because she's missing her flight. Like, I can't involve her with my water bottle.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I was like legit,
crying.
like ready to cry. I was fucking sad.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Okay, I have more. Have you thought of any yet? I could keep going.
Let me think on it a little bit more.
Okay, well, I'll keep going if something jogs your memory. This one you might take offense to, but mullets. Why are they coming back?
Why would I be
Why?
offended with that?
Because your son cut his hair in a mullet, and I thought you would feel
we've
protective
since
over him.
addressed that. It is gone.
Okay.
Mom cut it, but
We
that
have
was
since addressed.
he wanted that. I was like, no way in hell. But at the end of the day, like, I'm not gonna tell him
Yes.
what he can and can't do.
Exactly. And I agree. Like, I do agree. Like, my son shaved and bleached his hair.
I am gonna tell him what he can and can't do, just not with his hair.
Yeah.
Rephrase.
Right.
Um,
Like, if you want to wear a shirt, like, as long as it's not offending anyone, like, wear whatever shirt you want. I feel the same way. Like, if you're not hurting anyone along the process, but I will be straight up for real. I've told Jameson, like, you could do whatever you want to your hair, but like, you can't get a mullet. Like, I refuse. It's like just the same way I won't let him walk out of the house. Like, kids that I don't know if either one of your kids do this, but like, one thing that really irks me is like when people go out in public in, like, I'm not talking about like Viore joggers or leggings. I'm talking about like character-based fleece pajama pants, or like when they're like so obviously pajama pants and you're like at school or like roaming around the world in them. Like, I refuse to. My kid will never be the kid that's like at school in pajamas unless it's pajama day. Like, so anyways, similarly, that's how I feel about mullets. I was like, I'm sorry, you're just like not like, do whatever, bleach your hair. You want to dye it pink, dye it pink. You want a mullet? No. Nope. We're not. But like, I think they're like, the fact that they are back in like so cool, overrated. I don't get it. I'm like,
it's business in the front, party in the back.
Nope. I hate it. I don't like it. Sorry, don't mean to overuse the word hate, but
I don't like them either. I think they're unattractive haircuts, but there are some men I've seen, like celebrity men, if it's done right, who can pull it off. But it's still not my favorite haircut on anybody. I think it's like, it just needs to go away.
Okay.
That and the rat tail. There's actually a kid at Jackson School that has a rat tail, and I'm like,
rat tail.
Oh, fun story about a rat tail. I was once treated by a doctor in a sweater vest with a rat tail.
Oh,
in a life-threatening situation.
Oh,
and I thought when he walked into the room, I was like, "This is the fucking guy that's supposed to like."
This is the guy that's going to save my life right now.
He was
the rat tail. He's stuck in 1988.
He was on loan from Santa Fe, and he was wearing this, like, it wasn't even an actual sweater vest. It was a sweater that he cut the sleeves off of and turned into a vest. And then he had a fucking rat tail.
Cut off sleeves. That's not a vest.
Oh my God.
Oh, that is
I do have one.
Go.
Actually, I've thought of a few, very superficial, but I'm going to go with fake lashes. Everybody knows they're fake. So it doesn't even really look good. Like, if it's New Year's Eve and you're going to a big event, then sure. Or Halloween. Yeah. But to have them like glued to your face every day, I think that it's, I don't know. I don't like them. They look like and I've seen some people where they're so thick and dark, and it just looks like they have like these black feathers like flickering on their eye. It's so weird.
Wrong breeze and off they go.
Or if they blink enough times in a row, like maybe they'll propel up in the air. I don't know. They're huge, and it's like, I can understand if they did it to look natural, but it looks unnatural, and nobody really likes unnatural. Like, I feel like the whole goal
Well,
of
they
getting the
do.
lashes would be men don't like that.
No, they do. Meaning the person
Oh.
doing it. It's like you're the person. They're the person that likes it.
I think that a lot of women do it because it's like social media and like these fake standards to look a certain way, and it's just not real. Like nobody likes it. I don't know.
I think it was in trend at one point, and most people have went from the trend, and some people stuck with it.
I mean, I see it a lot more than I don't, to be with women. So I don't know if
Well, yeah,
that
I don't think men are wearing fake lashes, really.
Yeah, no. I mean, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But out and about in public, I guess it's probably younger.
It might be where you're
If I were to
at too,
classify it, it's
because
probably like a younger demographic.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I come across it on the internet sometimes, but I feel like in my day to day, I don't see too many people. You could tell like someone might have fake lashes in, but I don't see like really aggressive ones very much. But who am I kidding? I don't really see that many people. I go to my office, I go to the gym, and I go home. So I don't really go out.
I do see girls, or in the past when I went to this gym by my house, pre-Peloton, I would see women at the gym with their fake lashes, makeup, those shorts that have the seam down the butt crack to make their butt look really big.
Oh,
You know what I'm talking about?
the ruched butt crack.
Yeah.
Yeah. So their butt looks plumpy and juicy. That's funny. So the other one I have on my list is bleached eyebrows. Why? Why
Why
are we doing that?
I've never heard of this one.
Okay, then maybe it's not as overrated as I thought. You haven't seen people bleaching their eyebrows?
No. Where do you see this?
That might just be like
is
a
this
Southern
the
all
California
over
culture
Hollywood.
thing.
All over Hollywood.
That might be a
Are
Southern
bleaching
California
their
thing.
eyebrows, and then they're just like
But why?
go look. I could send you some Instagram pages, and I'll be like, "This is what I'm talking about," and then you'll be like, "Then watch." Then you'll start seeing it everywhere. But okay, maybe it's not as overrated. For me, it felt overrated because I felt like I was seeing it everywhere, and I was like, "Why are people doing this? Why are we bleaching our eyebrows to look like we don't have eyebrows, but we do?" I didn't understand.
I have one.
Go, Josh.
What?
Star Wars.
That is a good one.
Know, that is a very good one. I appreciate
Star Wars
that.
I've never understood it. Like, I've watched the first 6 movies, like the original 4, 5, and 6, and then 1, 2, and 3. I didn't watch 7, 8, and 9, but I do not understand the fandom that comes with Star Wars, and like people worship it like it's the greatest piece of cinema ever made. And then they came out with 7, 8, 9, and it literally was the exact same plot as 4, 5, and 6, just with a female lead.
Yeah.
And instead of Darth Vader, it was whatever the fucking guy's name was. But like the plot was exactly the same. Like Jedi's are going out of style and blah, blah, blah. And she's like this last hope. And I'm like, it's the same fucking movies. And they're like, oh my God. I don't know. I don't get it. I think Star Wars is
I think that's a great
overrated.
contribution to this. Thank you very much for that one. Though it was good.
It is.
Because, I mean, I just don't really like sci-fi, so I can't say too much because I honestly haven't seen most of the Star Wars. But so that's probably why it didn't come to my mind. But I've seen, I think, one of them. But like Jameson has watched all of them, like first to like he loves it. But yeah, I've never gotten into it. But yeah, there is real crazy fandom over that.
And I like sci-fi, but there's way better stuff. I don't get it. Star Wars, I don't get at all.
Good one. Okay. This is something, it might be in the hat, actually. I'm not sure if it belongs because honestly, I'm not really sure why I put it on there. And I'm like, did I intend this for a category or did I intend this as an overrated thing? So I'm going to skip it. And because it might be in the hat. But I'm like, if it's in the hat, I don't know how we're going to talk about it. But we'll see.
Well, she's talking about it now. If it comes
curious,
up,
so
she's talking about it now. If it comes up later, just throw it out.
Okay, if it comes up next time. Okay, so for some reason, I have bikinis with heels on my.
Oh.
No, because I'm like, I don't really feel like that's an overrated thing. But. So then I was like, maybe it was supposed to be a topic and maybe I wrote it down like early in the days and put it in my hat. I'm not sure, but it really bothers me. And it feels really awkward.
Yeah.
I just like imagine like you're wearing a bikini and then you're wearing high heels. How awkward do you feel?
Maybe they're gonna be like in a pageant later that day,
Yeah,
or
like I wrote it. I put it on my list when I was watching. Embarrassingly, I was watching this reality show that recently came out on Netflix. It was called fuck, I forget the name of it, but basically it was like these contestants and they had to like earn their way into luxury. So they would like camp they would like camp out and then you had to like build you like friend it was like building trust and like like clicks and like trying to get yourself into the life of luxury. I can't remember the freaking name of the
I think
show.
I know what you're talking about.
But these girls, like day one, everyone's like showing up to the house and they're like, woo, and they're like in bikinis and they all are wearing like these giant high heels. And I was like, you're at a swimming pool. And I know that was a TV show, right? But people do it in real life too. Like if you go to Vegas during the summer and you're like at a Vegas pool party, people are in bikinis and high heels. And I just think it's so awkward. And I'm like, how do you not feel that?
I know.
You're like basically naked, but in heels.
I just want to go back to a time where it was like flip flops and natural lashes and
Yeah.
Billabong t-shirts.
I'm like Roxy. Oh my
Roxy.
god.
I mean, I like platform flip flops. Let's go back to that. I can see
Yeah.
those with a bathing suit. Those work. Just a little bit of height, but still like looked appropriate for the attire.
Yeah,
I
right.
did think of something that I personally think is overrated. And I will say, I don't have this. I don't use it. And I never have used it, but TikTok. I think because I'm thinking about what you said in a prior show, how I'm just getting old. But I just think people need to find something better to do with their time. I really
Yeah.
do. Because we're like the dumbest culture in so many ways. Like our culture is literally sustained on likes and reshares and all these things that are so superficial. And I get that it's fun and it's like a way to express yourself, but people, the end user is everybody's always staring at their phone, and that is like a peeve of mine, is like they're always on their phone. Even when you go out in public and you see people sitting at dinner together or whatever, they're all looking at their phone. And I have like I don't like to look at my phone when I'm out with people unless it's like an
That's why I
important.
carry disposable cameras with me pretty much everywhere I go.
Yeah, I
So,
just think it's rude to sit at dinner or whatever and like
oh
everybody's
yeah, I don't do
on
that.
their phone. It's so annoying, and that's what these platforms have kind of created. So it's not so much the art that I don't like because I love art. It's that it created a society where we're just like zombies, like phone zombies. And so that's why I think it's overrated.
Overrated, yeah. Well,
I don't
I
know.
don't have any other overrated things that I've tracked on my list. Those are them. So apologies to anyone personally offended.
Yeah,
It's
this
not
was
about
not
you.
to be
It's not
offensive.
about you. It's about me.
It's not you, it's me.
Me. What were you going to
All
say,
right.
Josh?
Oh, I agree with you. I don't like TikTok either, but I don't know that I'd call it overrated. It's
It's just the next generation.
it's just what it is. Yeah, I think we're just older and
Yeah.
it's like, oh my God, how are you doing that all the time? But there's so much money in it. Like anyone who comes up with funny shit to film on there can theoretically get hundreds of thousands of followers and then get rich. Like
I
you
know.
don't
Hey
have
guys,
to
we
be.
might need a TikTok here.
Wild to
Who's
me.
which one? Put your hands in. Who's going to be the TikToker?
So I don't know that it's
Mhm.
overrated. I hate it too. I don't like it, but I think it's pretty accurately rated. It does a lot for all sorts of different people as a
It does.
promotional
I mean,
platform.
it is a good springboard into doing things. And so, like musicians and stuff, I totally get that. But I guess I was thinking more like the stupid videos that you see that have now taken over Instagram. I don't know how, but you see the TikToks. I don't, like I said, I don't even have TikTok, but I'll see it on
Neither.
Instagram.
Yeah.
And it's just dumb videos where people do stupid things, but it gets shared a bajillion times. And now these people are famous for literally acting dumb in a video.
It's
And I'm like, what
it's the
is
modern
happening?
day. It's the modern day Jackass.
I know.
Look at all the
but
guys in
for
Jackass,
anyone.
and I know, but like the guys in Jackass when they did that, like people were like, "Are you kidding me? These guys are fucking crazy." And then all of a sudden, they're famous and they're making movies and people love it because it's funny because you're watching people do dumb shit and you're like, I'd never do that. This person's insane. And this is just like a short form of that.
Yeah.
But now anyone can do it. You don't have to get a studio to produce it.
I know, which I think is great because it's a way for people to make money. But then on the flip side, it's like everybody's goal now is to be TikTok famous or whatever. So people's priorities have shifted, which I think in turn creates a larger issue in society because people don't want to work. They just want to make videos and like do things and to try to get famous some other way. Like fame is everybody's goal now. Not everybody, I'm generalizing, but
I wish I could be creative enough to do dumb shit like that and make money off it. Are you kidding me? Like, I would much rather sit around my house making stupid videos, making hundreds of $1,000s a year than go to fucking work. I'm gonna be honest. Like, if I had the creativity to come up with funny shit on TikTok,
you want to sponsor me? No prob.
I would quit my job immediately if I had the creativity to do it.
True. I know if our podcast made it, then I'd be like, okay, please.
Yeah, I'll tell. I was telling
It
Adrian,
violates
I don't know
all
if you
of
were
my
on the call
values,
yet, but when we were talking about how we just like make up songs for everything, and today Matt and I were walking the dog, and we were talking about some fucking nice ass house where we live, and I said, "Wouldn't it be nice if our podcast took off and we got a lot of money for that?" Because it's like, yeah, I'm not doing this to make money. But if it happened, like, okay. Anyways, all right, folks. Well, thank you again for joining us for another week of Chat in the Hat. Until next time.
Take it away, Josh.
Oh, yes. Take it away with a dad joke.
Okay. Why shouldn't you trust Adams?
Because they are appley good.
Because they make up everything.
I thought it was going to go the Adam and Eve route. I thought it was like
I
thought
Adams,
it was like
Adams ATOMS.
No, I knew it was ATOMS, but then I thought maybe that's the trick. Maybe it's actually about Adam and Eve. And so, yep, wrong direction. Well done. Okay.
We both went there. I went to like Adam's apple.
They're appley.
Because they're appley. Okay, until next time. Love you.
Yeah, love you.
Both.
Bye.
Bye.
Chat in the Hat is hosted by Alyssa Stiles and Adriana Marquez. It is produced by me, Joshua Stiles. You can find us on Instagram at Chat in the Hat Pod and wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for listening.